Alright, welcome to Nosy Joe's footage of MSXC Round 5, Moonshine Holler. Starting in row 15 for Senior C. This year it's a combined AM and PM race. There's 9 racers in our row. And they've also combined Super Senior and Senior. Last year I was in Super Senior, so there's a few more of us all lining up against each other, which is okay. Got Vet C starting out in front of us. I'm on my 2018 TE 300 that I've been racing since pretty much this spring. Got the Bellatron 38mm carb, which I really like. Jackson's pointing out there that it's going to kind of get narrow as we head into the hole shot because there's 3 bikes to the left of us. And if we're not careful, we're going to run them into those stakes on the left side. I started out in second gear. Jackson to my right pulled away pretty hard. I think he's on a 150 and I'm on a 300, so that thing really screams. So we were warned that this course was going to have a lot of elevation. I said about 20 hills. I don't know if it was 20, but of course the GoPro doesn't show hills very well. It's hard to tell how steep they are, or even if you're on a hill sometimes. But there was definitely a lot of them. None of them were terrible. They were all pretty doable. And even though it was only 36 degrees, really none of them were too wet or slick. So it was really surprisingly good course conditions today. I'm definitely in just a warm-up pace this first lap, and I'm just going to show the first lap because my second lap, I just got into a bunch of trouble with interference with other riders, contact on hills and stuff. My second lap was definitely my worst, and then I started to pick up speed after that, but my battery dies before I get into the third lap, so this is going to be the cleanest lap to show, just to kind of show what the course is. I feel like until about, as I watched this the first time, until about the 18-minute mark, when I make a pass, I don't really feel like I'm racing. I just feel like I'm kind of trail riding the thing, but I do kind of hold back the first lap, kind of learn the course, build my confidence that I can do it, and then I start, putting the pedal to the metal a little bit more. That's just kind of my style. I don't want to get hurt on the first lap. And as the more I ride, the more I kind of get into the zone and pick up speed. So, seems like this first little bit, I feel like I'm just kind of warming up. But surprisingly, I'm ahead of some guys in my class, and I do pick off some other riders in other classes on the overall, even at this pace. I think that's because the course is just a little bit more challenging than maybe it looks. It's just a lot of uphills and then back down hills, and then the back down hills are very off camber and a lot of very kind of bumpy descents that make it easy to whiskey throttle or just kind of lose control. So you're, at least the way I did it, some of my downhills were slower than seemingly needed, especially when you watch the video, but it's quite bumpy. The roots, if I only had one complaint about the course, it was the roots. They were just a constant presence, especially where you didn't want them to be, in the off-camber sections and the hill climbs. here's a good example of the kind of bumpy downhill. So there's off-camber roots. Guys are stuck on the hill. Just kind of got to take whatever path you can. So this is what's surprising to me. Even at this kind of slow pace, I'm actually passing some people, chasing them down. I don't think these are guys in my class though. I think they're row 13 or 14 dudes. Off camber. I feel like I'm painfully slow at this point, but I think I'm waiting for some guys to clear off the hill. Stuck on a root. With all the roots and everything, I will say I was very happy with my tire choice for today. I've been running the same front tire for about a year, which was the Shinko Fatty front, just in the regular compound. But if you guys watch my videos, you know that I did TKO this year, and I had a Shinko Fatty gummy. That's a lot to say. That I used during TKO, and during the last race at MSXC I ripped a bunch of lugs off my regular compound front, so I just went ahead and put my TKO setup on, really since this first time since TKO. I only ran it during that one race, and so it's a gummy front, and then the IRC, which is my favorite, probably my favorite tire maker overall, but I really haven't found one of their fronts that I just love better than the Shinko. But anyway, I got the VE33S, which is a kind of a hybrid gummy in the rear, and it took me a while to kind of figure it out, but that turned out to be a really good choice for today. The roots didn't really mess me up. I never really got hung up on them or stuck on them, or they never slipped me sideways too much. The gummy compound just kind of stuck. I ran 10 pounds in the front, and I didn't really measure my rear. I just kind of felt it, and it felt about right, but I'd say I was only running 5 or 6 pounds in the rear. And I'm running ultra heavy duty tubes, 4 millimeters thick. Pretty much did that all year. I kind of dropped the mooses. I like the adjustability, and even at those types of pressures, I never had a pinch flat all year in the summer series, so I'm just going to keep going with that here this winter. They're only about a $25. I think the brand I buy is just Tusk from Rocky Mountain, so that's only a $20 or $25 tube, so I like those just fine. Even at TKO I ran tubes. I was probably the only guy not running a bib, but I might do something different at TKO next year. These tires I just described, especially the VE, might not have been the smartest choice for running in the rock creek beds, but for something like this where it's just a winter hare scramble and you might endure or encounter a little bit of slick stuff because of the cold ground temperatures or something, just a hybrid gummy like that with some good lug height, I'm thinking this is about the perfect tire setup for this winter, so I'm going to keep this setup on for the rest of the, at least rest of the MSXC. If it dries out, spring and stuff, we get more into just straight up mud, I might go back to my M5B, which is my favorite rear tire. As far as bike setup, that's about all I did. I didn't do any real significant changes this year with the TE. It's just a good bike. If you can't do it on a TE, you know, it's definitely not the bike. It's got all kinds of capability. One thing I did work on in terms of maintenance between last race and this race, the last race for MSXC, which would have been round 4, it just kind of beat the heck out of me. And I think part of it was the course, but I kind of figured out after I got home that my suspension wasn't quite working right for me, so I took all my bolts loose in the front end and just kind of realigned the forks and got everything parallel and even again. And boy, I had noticed that immediately during this race that my forks were working a lot better. So I know that's something you should do probably between every race, and I don't always do it because I think I just kind of wait until I feel stiction and think, well, then I'll do it. But I think I had it and didn't realize it because all of a sudden my forks were just cushy today, and they hadn't been really for a while, so I think that was the right move. This guy here, I don't want to say stuck behind, but I follow him for a good portion here, and it's not until I really get around him that I feel like I kick it into high gear. Definitely another challenging hill climb there. I'm not sure in Jackson's video he'll tell you this guy's name and what class he's in, but I think what's it say, Allen or something like that. He and I were really pretty kind of evenly paced. I might have been able to go a little bit faster, but sometimes I prefer, this isn't a good race strategy, but sometimes I kind of prefer following somebody, following their line. I have to say, I really enjoyed this property. It was a 3.5 hour drive for me. That was the only negative as far as, doing this again. But I enjoyed riding it. If this was close to me, I'd love riding here. And if the conditions truly had been wet, I mean, this would have been very challenging. They said it was a 7-mile course, so I can imagine if it was real wet, how long some of the laps would have taken because of people getting hung up on the hill climbs and the routes. Definitely a lot of bikes parked along the side of the trail this day. I'm not sure what happened to all these guys. I don't know if they had bike issues or they got hurt. Some guy buzzing us from the back, but you can see these trees. How are we going to get off to the side? hill climb. I think I'm in the wrong gear. One mental note, I think I need to make an adjustment on that Bellatron. There's a adjustment on like your top end fuel management, like when you get a lot more into the throttle. And I killed the bike 2 or 3 times on hill climbs this race, where honestly I was in the wrong gear. I was in too high a gear, and I couldn't just throttle out of it. And usually I use the clutch to kind of blip it and get the RPMs up, but I basically got in a situation where I tried to floor the gas, and it just wouldn't respond, and it actually died. So I think I need to open up that fuel screw that gives me more fuel on the top end. It's almost like a flame out on a 4-stroke, which shouldn't be happening on a 300. This field here that we're about ready to cross is like the bumpiest damn field. I almost couldn't, I could like never really even, I needed to change gears about 3 times, but felt like I couldn't hold on to the damn bike and shift gears at speed with the way it was tossing me about. See, there was a good one. That was a good reason to be following somebody. I saw that kick him sideways, and I realized, oh, there's a pretty slick route there. Now, I probably would have been better just hitting it at speed. I slowed down for him, and then it kicked me a little bit more than it needed to. That's the thing about these routes, is the slower you go sometimes, the more impact they have on you. Another hill climb. Yeah, I think he's going to let me go around, because I've been on his tail every time we go up a hill. There he goes. Yeah, this is, now we're just kind of watching the video. I feel like this is when I finally kind of act like I'm racing here. I think maybe I'm just wanting to stay ahead of him since I followed him for so long. These descents used to really freak me out, and I feel like I'm getting more confident on going down hills. None of the downhills were that bad though today, so maybe I'm just overconfident there, but they were just awfully bumpy sometimes. But they never felt like you were going to lose control in terms of, accelerating down the hill uncontrollably or anything like that. Another hill climb. I should have called these out and numbered them to see if we really do have 20. The cache said we had 20. Another hill climb. Another off-camber descent. And then up another hill. Oh. Got off a little bit there. Clutching it to keep me going there. A lot of times I need to drop a gear if I get slowed down on a climb, but that little hitting the clutch lever a few times often brings the 300 back to life. Here we go again. Okay, this is where Jackson and I were talking. I don't know if this is where some people got off course. I feel like I'm just following the markers, but I'm not really sure what this yellow tape's all about. But red and blue diamonds there, down left, that left turn coming out of that clearing. This is the only place right there that maybe was confusing on course markings. The reason I'm talking about that is Jackson clearly was ahead of me going into the start. Unless I missed him in the video or looking, there's another kind of bad downhill. He's going to pass me here before the end. And it's like, well, when did I ever pass him? I don't think that ever happened. So we thought maybe there was an issue with course markings and he went like some extra distance on the first lap that allowed me to get ahead of him. I don't know. That's why I want to get my video out here early so we can kind of study it and compare it to his and see what went wrong, because for the life of me I don't understand how, number one, I really wasn't riding fast enough to have passed him, and number two, I just never saw him after the beginning. So the idea of him coming back through and then passing me before scoring is just really confusing. But he was pretty certain the course markings were off. But I never saw an issue, or maybe I was just oblivious and shortcutting something, not realizing it. That downhill was a little bit sketch. There's spectators. It's usually a clue that you're getting back close to scoring. This area of the course was kind of tedious, I thought. I guess I'm just not good going through this little narrow sections. Hill climb number 19. I think this is my favorite one, that you could actually get up a gear and keep on it. Maybe not that one. That was one of the later hill climbs I really liked. Yeah, there's Jackson. So that makes no sense to me. I don't know where those guys would have gotten behind me at. So it's going to be hard to see, but when we go through scoring here, I'm going to be showing 5th place. And then I have a bad second lap, and I end up in 6th place at the end. But anyway, that was round 5. Hope you guys enjoyed it.